Hello everybody, here is a helpful video on how to make a graph with your data once you're done gathering the information from your gizmo for your Week 7 Inquiry Beats Lab. Now once you get your information, in order to make a graph in Excel, you want to open Excel first, and then you're going to put in your data based on whether it's a dependent or independent variable. Now your independent variable data points should go in the A column here. Your dependent variable points should go in the B column here. Basically, your independent variable is your x-axis, and your dependent variable is your y-axis. And by putting them in these columns, it's going to make your graph follow what we want it to be in terms of our axes and our variables. So once you have your data plugged into the columns, you're going to click on the upper right section and click and drag so you highlight all your data points. Now this is how I go about making a graph. Some other people might make a graph differently. As long as you get to your end product, it's fine. But again, this is how I like to make a graph. Once all my data is highlighted, I go to this insert button and then I find the charts area over here. You're going to want to find the scatter plot chart, which is going to be dots. So you're going to click on this option here, and that's going to open other graph options, and I'm going to click on the one with just the dots. It's the very first option. That opens a scatter plot for me based on my data points that I have in my column. Now your chart is going to need to have a title and axes labels. So if you click somewhere on your chart where it's highlighted, you'll notice up here changed, and I'm going to find this quick layout button. And then I'm going to choose the very first option. Now this is going to give me a chart title and axes titles, and you'll notice those are listed here. And by clicking and double clicking into those, I can actually edit these. Your key or legend over here you don't have to keep. You can actually highlight that and delete it if you want to. It's entirely up to you. I like to do that because it gives me more space for my graph. So now that I have those, I would make a title for my graph that's appropriate and then label my axis based on what my independent and dependent variables are. And then when you're ready to add a trend line, which in turn will give you an equation and an R² value, you'll click on your data point, and any data point would be fine. And then once you click on that, you'll right click and it'll give you the option to add a trend line towards the bottom right here of that pop-up. When you click Add Trend Line, it'll give you this Format Trend Line option area on the right. You're going to want to make sure that linear is selected. And then as you scroll down, you want to select Display Equation on Chart and Display R² value on chart. Once you have those three selected, you can hit this X button, and that'll get rid of that navigation piece there. Now you'll notice I have a line here, and I have an equation and an R² value. The R² value, the closer that is to 1, the more of a stronger relationship your variables have to each other. So you'll notice my R² value is 0.99, which is super close to 1. My data points have a pretty strong relationship to each other. And then you'll notice with my equation, I have y equals 2.0485x minus 0.2667. That is the equation I'm going to use in order to solve for what my independent variable would have to be set at to meet the song beats per minute that I would like. With that being said, when you pick a song that you want to use and you find the beats per minute, we have to make sure that the beats per minute is actually in beats per second, because with our gizmo, we're measuring in seconds for time. So you'll take your beats per minute for whatever song you have, and you'll divide that by 60, and that will put it into beats per second. Once you get a beats per second value, you will plug that value in for y right here in your equation. And that's going to allow you to solve for x, which is going to be what you set your independent variable to in the gizmo. So if I plugged in 60 for y here, I would add 0.2667, because that would get rid of this side. And then I would divide by 2.0485. And that in turn would give me x or have me solve for x with the equation. So that's just a little information on how to create the graph, get your trend line, your labels, and everything else that you might need. Now, if you want to paste this into a Word document, you would make sure it's highlighted or the graph's highlighted. And then you can either right click and copy right here, or you can hit Control C at the same time, and that'll copy your graph, and you can go ahead and paste that into a Word document. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, make sure to let me know. Otherwise, good luck and keep working hard.